In this video, I go through how I approach a brand new venue. And it goes pretty well.
It's been a while since I picked up a carp of this size.
Now, if I'm going fishing on a new venue, I like to do as much research before I even leave the house, and that's where the internet is your friend in this instance. Now, this venue in particular is on the Catch app, so I found it actually by searching by location to where I live, finding some venues in close proximity that would be good for a little session somewhere new, and I found one across the Severn Bridge. I thought it was going to be in Wales, it's not, it's just in Gloucestershire, called the Forest Carp Lake. So I clicked on that and view, and obviously I've got loads of information on what the fishery looks like. The fish look amazing, as you can see. It'd be lovely to catch any of those in December. Then you got an overview, so it gives you a bit more of an information on what the stock levels are like, what the lake makeup is, the swim, what sort of things is around the area, how to get there. Everything I need to know is on here. And then of course the booking information tells you weather, the swim layout and things like that. So already before I've even left the house, I know roughly what the lake is going to look like before I even get there, and that could be a massive edge when you're arriving at a new venue. Point number 2 is definitely easier said than done, and I'm as guilty as anyone in just rushing to a lake and getting the rods out straight away, especially if it's a venue I'm familiar with. However, this is somewhere I've never even seen before, so I want to learn a bit more about the lake and where the carp might potentially be. So getting down to the lake without any kit in your hands, travelling around the lake, just staring at the water, standing in different swims for 10 minutes at a time, seeing if there's any signs of carp will definitely give you a better chance of catching something when you come down to actually choose to where you're going to fish. I'm quite lucky today in that this is a lake exclusive booking for the next 24 hours. Anyone can do that, that's not a personal privilege, but it does mean I've got the options to move around if I see fish in different areas, and when I am at a swim I could probably spread my rods a little bit more, which is quite nice. But I watched the water, I have seen absolutely nothing for the last hour, so all of that goes out the window, apart from the fact I can now tap into past experiences and knowledge of fishing venues like this, with weather like this. We've got about an acre and a half of water in front of us. Carp to 40 pounds, there's about 45 to 50 carp to go at, but there is a fresh, warm wind. Considering it's December and the car's reading 11, 12 degrees already, 8 AM, that's a very, very mild wind, and it's pushing down into this bay. So this bay is a definite starting point for where to get a rod. Having said that, peg number 1, you've kind of only got the bay in front of you, and I feel like if you caught something from here, it could push them out into other areas of the lake. So peg 2 is looking perfect for my session. I can still get a rod or 2 down into this bay, but I've got islands in front of me, another bay, and lots of other options to fish from that swim, but still accessing this key spot that I think is going to be holding the carp. I'm now in peg 2, which is going to be the perfect place to at least start my session, because as I said, I can still access that bay to my right where the wind's pushing in, but I've then got 2 islands at my disposal, one closer to the other, and they're kind of staggered. And then I've got a bay to my left, which is behind the camera, which is on the back of the wind. So there's lots of different opportunities to move rods around, put them in likely looking spots. And it's also worth noting at this point that this venue is typically a 2-rod venue, unless there's not many of you on. And as there's only me here, I've been allowed to use 3 rods. So I've got opportunities to put rods in places where hopefully the carp are showing up. But knowing my luck, they'll all start crashing out behind that second island, which is the only part of the lake I can't access from here. But let's not think about that too much. Time to get the kit and bring it down to the swim. All my kit is now in my swim, but the first thing I did was grab one of my rods and a lead and go around to all the spots I already like the look of and just donk the lead around to get more of an understanding of what I'd be fishing over. Although I've read already on the website that it's between 4 to 6 foot, clay bottom and silt, I wanted to find that out for myself and make sure that where I'm fishing is exactly what I want to be fishing over. Because if I only went by the information I learned online, fished to some spots that I like the look of, and then wound in at the end of the session, my rig was all tangled in sticks and debris, I'd be kicking myself that I didn't do that little bit of research myself. So having said that, most of it is what I'd expect. It is 4 to 5 foot around the lake on the middle, but where I'm fishing is actually a bit shallower. It's probably around 2 to 3 foot in the margins and off the islands, and it's not as clay bottomed as I'd expected. It's a bit more silt. But having said that, using my bait and spoon, which I've got with me today, I'll be able to lay the setup that I'm going to be using over the top of any of that potential silt with no issues, without the worry that the lead's going to plug in from, say, if I was casting. So I'm pretty happy that all the spots I'm going with, from the right margin to the island, to between the island and the bank, and maybe to the left bay later on, all those spots I've already done the marking around or leading around. I'm happy with what I'm going to be fishing over. I don't have to make any more disturbance going into the rest of the session because I'm using the bait and spoon. Having said that, The only part of the lake that hasn't been cast around in with lead splashed around is the other side of that island. So before I do anything else, I'm going to go up there with this. One, have a bit of a feel around to see if there's anything up there. But two, if there's any carp hiding up there because of the commotion I've just made, it hopefully pushes them back out, gets them moving around, and that's the best way to get a bite. Because being the only one here, yes, it's nice in one sense, but two, because there's no one else to push the fish around, if they hide somewhere else, I'm sat here twiddling my thumbs. So going up there, doing that, could potentially push them around a bit more. Reach for the sky. That should be enough commotion. Well, I just glanced at my phone and it's revealed that I've been at the venue for about 3.5 hours and I'm yet to put the rods up. I don't feel like that's been wasted time because I've learnt a lot about the venue just from watching it a lot, but also leading around and talking to the owners who have just been around as well. And what it has confirmed is that the spots I was looking at fishing are pretty much some of the spots that produce fish already. And whilst I was talking to the owners, I fish rolled not once, but twice, probably about a rod length to the left of where I was going to put it, which apparently is a nice clean gravel patch. So that makes sense that they've actually followed the wind. They've done what I thought they might have done. And where there's one, there can often be more than one. So I'm not going to put the rod exactly where I was leading around. In fact, I'm going to move it a rod length to the left where that fish rolled, because it makes no sense to put it where I was originally planning if I've seen a fish roll pretty close by on a spot which is known to produce fish. So that's where that one's going to go. Other one, island. The other one between the island and the far bank. And that's pretty much all I'm going to do. Rigs wise, I'm not going to run through it in depth once again. It's what you've seen plenty of times before. But if you do want to see how I tie this up and the hook baits and everything, the configuration, leads and things, click the link in the description below to a video which I think was called Copying Corda. It's got a shot on the hook, which is why it's named that. But that runs through the whole setup I'm using there. Then when it comes to bait, the free offerings, everything in here, I've gone through in depth again on a previous upload, which was catch more fish this winter, where I run through my tactics when it comes into winter, but often the tactics I use wherever I go as well. But before we get the rods out, I want to take a quick second out of your time to thank the sponsor for today's video, Holy Energy. They've been a supporter of the channel several times before, and I genuinely drink their stuff all the time. It's my go-to for a clean and reliable energy boost, and it doesn't leave me feeling jittery or crashing an hour later. Now, I drink energy drinks most days, whether that's for focus boost when working or editing, or to rehydrate after football. Or, let's be honest, if I've had a bit too much to drink the night before. And recently, I've been loving some of their new Christmassy flavours. There's Holy Xmas, which is plum and cinnamon, Baked Apple Boar, which is quite obvious what it is, and my personal favourite of the three, Frosty Fox. And the reason for that is because this is the sweetest tasting of them all. I've got quite a sweet tooth, but this doesn't come with all the nastiness you'd expect with it. There's no taurine, no sugar, just clean energy. And it's not just energy drinks that they create. There's also a whole range of iced teas and hydration drinks, perfect after a gym session or a rather testing fishing session. And when it comes to the energy drinks, they've got something called Nucaf, which is a much slower releasing, longer lasting energy supply compared to your more conventional energy drinks, which give you a massive buzz and then you crash and you feel awful afterwards. You don't get that with these. And also, they're really good for the environment. Reusable shakers, the sachets and everything that comes in recyclable, and also 80p a serving. So cheap. And right now, there are some amazing new customer offers with a bunch of freebies to kick off the new year. So if you want to give Holy Energy a try, then make sure you check the link in the description below and use my codes. Code MBF5 for £5 off your first order when spending over £14.99. And following on from that, code MBF will give you 10% off all orders for the rest of your life. So if you love your energy drinks but want to try something a bit better for you, then definitely check out Holy. Should we get these rods out? All sorted. Now, as you would have saw, I cast the left-hand rod for two reasons. The first reason being the main one. My baiting spoon doesn't reach that far. If I wanted to use the baiting spoon for that spot, I'd have to get even more sections or cast onto the far bank, go around, clip my rig on, put it in the spoon, ship it out, drop it, come back, try and get my line laid, by which point I'll probably drag the lead. It's just a faff. So I've gone for the casting approach, old school method, I know. And also it's just the hook bait with a little mesh bag of cell nest. Rather than adding bait like I have done with the middle and the right hand rod, it's basically a single. What do you class as single these days? A high vis flung into the middle of nowhere, or does a solid bag or a little mesh bag make it not a single anymore? Who knows? But there's not as much bait around, this is what I'm trying to say. So if a fish is swimming around, sees this little parcel on the left hand rod and thinks, oh, go on then, that could get a bite. Alternatively, if they want a bit of food, these two rods are covering that basis. If we get bites on the baited spot, of course I'll add some baits. It seems like they're up for a bit of grub. If we get a bite on the single and keep getting bites on singles, maybe that's the option I'm going to go down. Just use mesh bags and no more bait. But covering both options it gives me more of an idea of what the fish are up to, what they want, and then I can go forward with that. I know I've not got that long left. It's gone midday already, and I've got to be off by 10 AM tomorrow, so I'm not even fishing physically for more than 24 hours. But I've done all I can now. It's up to the carp. I called it. I blooming called it. I said that this swim, I can access a good, I don't know, 70% of the lake, a good chunk of it. So if there's fish around there, I should be able to access them. Put the bivvy up because the forecast for this afternoon is diabolical. It's meant to start heavy rain any minute really, and it's started spitting with rain already. But sitting here having my lunch, I thought, what's that right in the top corner behind the island, the bit of water that I can't access? That looked like a fish. So I watched, and another fish, and another fish. They were up the other end, and to confirm my suspicions, or the fact I'd seen them up there, when I had the drone up getting some shots of the lake for you all, of course, curiosity got better with me, so I flew it up there to have a little look down. It's quite shallow, and that means you can see the fish quite clearly. There's a lot up there. So, despite the fact that I'm nice and comfy here, the rods are all set, and I'm ready for the rain, I can't sit here knowing that they're up the other end. So, I just tied up a little mesh bag of crumbed up sow. I'm going to bring all 3 rods in and head up there with one rod. A few sections of the baiting pole so be nice and quiet and just drop one in. And I'm probably going to nip back to the car actually to get my umbrella, because if this rain comes in like it's forecast, I don't want to be stood up there in just a coat. So, that's the plan of action. I knew they'd turn up there, but it's quite a small swim up there, and I thought if they don't stay there, there's a lot of water and they're not fishing. I'm coming back here later on, but that's fishing for you. Carp are little buggers. Well, it seems the fish have moved on. Nothing's happened, and it's going to be dark in about 20 minutes. So I'm trying to bring the rod in, head back to my main swim and get the rods out in the daylight, or what's remaining of it, so I make sure that everything goes out smoothly. Shame this didn't work, but at least I tried it. Well, it's not long gone dark, and the middle rod actually pulled up really finicky bite, and that was the one that's just off the island, and it came in pretty scrappy fight. And when I landed it, I think it's probably one of the smallest fish in the lake. As you can see, the fishery owner's just arrived and fist bumping me, because not after I'd put that one back, I was just getting the rod ready to go back out. And my right hand rod, which is the one over to the bay, which is the one I saw the fish roll earlier, went off. And when I got in the net, I thought, oh, that's a nice plump 20 pounder. But as you know, a week or so ago, I was out in Holland and I caught a sturgeon of around 130 pounds. So clearly my internal weight guessing was way off, because when I lifted it out of the water, I thought, oh, that's a bit heavier, and weighed it, taking off the sling. So it came to 45 pounds 13 ounces. The sling was 3 pound 3. So 42 pound 10 ounce. I ruined the ending of that story, but I'm just buzzing because that is a new personal best mirror carp. But yeah, and my second ever UK 40, second ever 40 in general when it comes to carp. So one of the areas just arrived, we're waiting for the other one, and we're gonna get it out, get some snaps. And how big did it go in? 41 12, so it's gained a few ounces, not much. And that's the late record then.
Yeah, that's the late record.
Yeah. I've never had a late record, so there we go. Oh, my last session of the year, new personal best, late record, you can't ask for more. So the next thing you'll see is me actually holding this beautiful mirror up.
Go on, sir.
Now say something I can use for YouTube. Without swearing, say something for YouTube.
Get in there, my son.
That's more like it. There you go and done it.
Go on, happy days or what?
Whew. It's been a while since I picked up a carp of this size, at least of my own, and in the UK. Now, the fish I had just before this was probably one of the ones that slipped through the net. There's some original stock in here. So, if anything, I was extremely unlucky. Although it's a bite in December, I'm going to lose my words. It's one of the small ones that probably slipped through the net. But to go from that to this, whew, what a beautiful fish. And if you watch this on my Instagram unfold, you'll have seen that I got this in there and said, that's a nice plump 20. And then when it rolled onto its side and saw the belly, I still didn't twig. It's got some winter colours on its belly. It's beautiful. And he's still not done. Look at that. My last trip of the year, and it couldn't be finished off any better than that. I mean, I've still got all the night to go, but 42 pound, 10 ounce, my biggest ever mirror carp. And when it looks like that, you cannot complain. Beautiful. Mega little fishery. I love intimate little venues like this, and I've been seeing a lot today and thinking I'd lost my chance when I didn't get one, when I saw them all showed up at the top. But so I had 2 bites in 10 minutes, one of the smallest, and then the biggest in the lake. I've never had a lake record before. But currently, I'm sure this fish will grow on to a bigger size. I'm current record holder for this lake. Oh, what a result. Show you the other side quickly. Not in this weather. I'm wet enough as it is. There we go, the other side. If you ever come down to this venue, which I recommend you do, this one is known as Sovereign. What a mega fish. And I get to share it with the owners who, before they left, we were discussing what I would catch, and I said I'd take anything. I think none of us imagined I'd end up with the biggest in the lake in my landing net an hour later. Mega. Mwah. There we go. Whew. Right, before my camera gets killed by the rain.
Well, it's been about an hour and a half or so since I caught that fish, and I'm still sat here with just the one rod out because it is disgusting out there. You can hear the rain on the bivvy. This isn't even the worst of it. A second ago I was on a call and I couldn't even hear the person down the other end. It was that horrible. So although I've got one rod out at the moment, I'm hoping it does not go off until at least this eases. I'm already soaked through, but I want to dry up a little bit before I get into bed later on. Rig there, not even ready to go back out. The rod that I caught that fish on is somewhere down the bank. I need to go and find it. It's all a bit mayhem, but never in my wildest dreams did I think when I was planning this video to come out and go through the whole process of fishing a venue for the first time and how I go about it, did I think this would happen. But if you ever needed proof that you don't need to rush a session, then that's it. Mad. Madness. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just over the moon. Hopefully that's coming across on camera. I can't remember the last time, well, I can actually, a few weeks ago when I caught that sturgeon, but mega. Madness.
And this is where things took a bit of a turn.
There comes a point in fishing where you call it a day. And this is probably that. The wind is ridiculous. Rods came in, I just took the valuables back to the car, I've come back to this. Yeah. I am not fishing anymore. I'm calling it quits. I don't know if my bivvy's broken. Very likely that it is. But I think you'll agree. If something like this happens, it's probably everything telling you to stop fishing. Not safe anymore. And certainly not good for my my health. So they're already wound in. That needs to get packed down, even if it's a case of stuffing it in the boot because it's broken. Ah, what a whirlwind of a session. I'll see you in the morning when I'm at home.
I'm back home, I'm dry, enjoying the fire behind me, which is very, very welcome. But before we head out into the garden to assess the potential damage to my kit, which I hope there isn't any, just to let you know that there is a giveaway involved in this video, just like there has been with every other upload this December. Up for grabs is a starter set deluxe from Holy, so a massive thank you to them for getting involved in this. And then alongside that, I'm going to be chucking in another session with me. So all you got to do to get involved in this giveaway is comment down below, like the video, and make sure you're subscribed. And for another chance to get this giveaway, head over to my Instagram, find the thumbnail to this video, like it, make sure you follow me on there as well, of course, and then tag one friend. I'm not going to make you tag 3. I know tagging mates can be a bit annoying at times. Just tag one, even if it's your mum, your sister, or your boyfriend. Completely up to you. That's all you got to do to get involved. Now, let's head into the garden and see if there's any damage. The bivvy survived. I'm absolutely amazed and, of course, extremely thankful that it did, because that would have ended up being quite an expensive session. But lesson learnt, check the forecast a bit more thoroughly. And also, a lot of you guys have told me online, some of you nicer than others, to get some bigger pegs. You can get some storm pegs basically for a softer ground, which is what I was bivvied up on to hopefully stop anything like that happening again in the future. So learn from my mistakes as well. If you're ever going fishing in windy conditions, like I said, of which I've done before, never had the issue, but you're going somewhere with softer ground, get some bigger pegs or maybe big old bank sticks to hunker everything down. You live and learn. Pretty rough ending to the session, but I take that and a personal best any day of the week. But now I'm back home and everything's settled down. I'm dry, although it's still raining and the camera is currently under an umbrella. I thought I'd just quickly show you another thing on the catch app is logging my catch report so I can remember all the details of what I've done. So following on from learning about a venue, if you log captures and how you caught them and everything that went around that capture, you can start to build up a bigger picture of the venue that you've been fishing. I actually caught 4 fish in the end, 3 smaller ones and of course the bigger one. I didn't film more of it because, as you saw, the weather was horrendous. But what I've then done is just logged the catch report. So I actually forgot to take a photo of my fish on my phone, so I took a picture on the back of my camera and uploaded that. And what's really fancy about the catch app is that it uses AI and all the data from your photo to put all the information that you maybe would originally put down like a manual log or a diary, and saves it all for you. So I've just gone into here, you can see my catch report. I've got the weather data, of which I can go into more, and it says wind data. It does say it was 4.5 miles an hour, and when I caught the fish, it was calm. That obviously would have changed if I'd taken a photo a bit later than that. Sun data, moon data tells you the moon phase, temperature, and then the precipitation data, it tells you the pressure. As you can see there is 1,005 millibars. So that's really key information. The location, the date, the time, the carp, and catch notes. Obviously, if I go into there, I can see the bait I was using, which was cell, the hook baits and things. So all that information, rather than trying to think, oh, what did I do last time I visited that place? You can save it all there and then, start to build up a picture of a lake. And you can do this wherever you go, either keep that as a personal log, or you can share it with other people to help other people out. That is now public, so other people can see the capture that I caught, where it was, the conditions and how I caught it. So it's completely up to you if you want to take that information or go out alone and try it for yourself. But mega session. Really thankful to the lads for having me down. Thoroughly enjoyed myself, and definitely check out Forest Carp Lake if you want to visit it again. But this is the last video of the year, so I want to just run through a few of the stats of this year, really, because it's been a mad one. Of course, at the start of the year, or just at the end of 2023, I became a dad on the 29th of December, so going into the new year was going to be different anyway. I was full-time employment at Carpology at the time. After 7.5 years coming to the summer, I decided to leave Carpology to go full-time with Nuffinbutfishing. So I hope that you guys have been enjoying all the content. I've been thoroughly enjoying making more videos. And talking of which, in this year, I've made, I think, 37, maybe 38 videos, or 39 when this one goes up, on YouTube, and that's only half the year being a video a week. So next year there's going to be a lot more content. So if you're not subscribed to me already, please do. There's going to be way more content coming towards you. I've amassed 1.5 million more views, which is awesome, and gained most importantly 13.6k subs, which is a massive thanks to all you guys that have started subscribing. I'm definitely seeing the rewards of going full-time with this channel and starting to build up a community. I hope that you're learning as well as being entertained from these videos. So I really do thank every single one of you that has subscribed, whether that's from day one, back in 2009, or today. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. You're just as welcome and just as grateful for all of you for subscribing. My top 5 videos, if you haven't seen it, is the Fishing a Medieval Moat, which at the point of filming is just coming up to 320,000 views. Absolutely mad. Never expected that video to do as well as it did. But that's reached all over the world, and strangely, really big viewing in America, which is really cool. Following on from that, the Timu videos. You guys seem to love them, and cheap challenges. The Timu haul, the first one I did, 163,000 views. Following on from that, I got the carp fishing face-off with Carl from Fishful Carl. Of course, I was expecting that one to do well because he's one of the biggest YouTubers there is, and that did 104k. And then Timu round 2 did 66k, and last but no means least on the top 5 of these videos was testing Wish carp fishing gear, and that got 57k. There's a definite theme there that you guys like something a little bit different, the challenges, the cheap things. Let me know in the comment section below what your favourite video of the year was, or in general from my channel if you've seen them, or if you want what you want to see more of going into 2025. That's mad. We're saying 2025 already. Let me know what you want to see. And also moving on to social media, Instagram's been the main one that's been picking up. I've got a lot more followers on there. I've done 244 posts on Instagram. 67 of those were pictures, 177 of those were reels. So that shows how much Instagram, just from a weird geeky point of view, looking at how trends are going, Everyone's shifted over to Reels. I hope you've been enjoying the content on there. And again, if you don't follow me on social media platforms, then do. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You see lots more behind the scenes stuff, extra content, and all the bits between sessions and between the stuff that's on YouTube on here. That's pretty much everything. Just again, one massive thank you to every single one of you that watches my videos, subscribed. There we go. I haven't touched on the eggnog yet, but after this video, I think I will. As a bit of a celebration for how well 2024 has gone, and roll on 2025, where there will be lots more content and hopefully lots more PBs and a lot of diversity of fish. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too. Make sure you're subscribed to come along on the journey. That was an awful waffly ending, but you get the picture. See ya. Oh, the bed chair is still wet. I've got a wet arse.